Sort of off topic. This is my beautiful and talented and very smart friend named Max, and you better fucking respect her.
And this is Janey, my non-romantic life partner, who I would kill or die for 1,000 times over. And if you can't respect her, then you can't respect me, and if you can't respect me, you better get ready for a mental sandwich, baby.
Hello, and welcome
to Sort of
Off Topic. What? This is the episode of the podcast that you guys know by now because it's been a couple weeks since you started listening to them again, where we talk about something that has nothing to do with fairy tales or folk tales or mythology.
It's just another different thing.
It's another different thing that
Unrelated.
we like.
Yep.
Okay, well, and I'm going to be going today, and I know already that this is going to be a two-parter, but it is something that kept me up until 5 o'clock in the morning, freaking the fuck out. I almost woke you up.
Oh, I'm really glad you didn't.
And then I almost woke you up again today.
I'm a sleepy bitch.
Max is always sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning and also taking a nap after work. It's crazy. And I'm just going to jump into it because it's so long.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Do it to me. This podcast isn't for kids.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
Get on out. Bye. Okay, tell me some stuff.
Max, you are somebody who is on Twitter.
At the time of recording, yes.
Listen, anything could change. And you have been for several years.
Since I was in high school, since 2010.
Yeah, Max is like a Twitter... I associate Twitter with Max.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you want
I have
people
like
to follow
200
you on Twitter?
followers.
That's a lot.
No, it's not.
I think that's a lot. What's your Twitter handle?
It's soup_vampire.
Yeah. Anyway, go follow Max.
Or don't. It's up to you.
Yeah.
That's the least hinged of my social media accounts.
Yeah. So, you are also familiar with the artist Adam Ellis.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about today.
Yes.
I told you, I thought that you probably knew it. I don't know how much you have followed this.
A middling amount.
Okay, we're going to be looking at a lot of pictures today and describing a lot of horrifying things today.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so Adam Ellis is an illustrator, a very funny and very cool and great illustrator. I've been obsessed with him for years. And on Instagram, he's Adam Tots, and on Twitter, he is at Moby Dickhead.
Is he?
Moby_Dickhead. It used to be more professional, but I think after this, he got a little bit unhinged. So he just was like, fuck it. They can find me or not. So he's an illustrator. He used to work for BuzzFeed, and he started in 2017 updating Twitter on something really weird and concerning that was happening in his house. That was basically a haunting.
Mm-hmm.
And it became known as Dear David. And I'm going to tell you the whole meaty thing.
Ooh.
It's girthy.
Can I tell you, Janey, you told me ahead of time that you were like, this is something that happened on Twitter, so Max, you might already be aware of it. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking of all the things that have happened on Twitter that you could do an off-topic about. And I really thought that this might be a deep dive into an incident that occurred on Twitter several years ago, where a little Twitter history for you.
Yeah, please.
From about 2010, when I started on Twitter, onwards, there was a sort of a category of tweeters called Weird Twitter. And it's a lot of like comedians and people just being weird on Twitter, which kind of expanded and seeped out to be the entire platform, which I love and appreciate.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of like big names that, you know, like you've probably heard of Drill.
Nope.
DRIL, Wint. You've seen the tweets, I guarantee.
Okay.
Horse eBooks was another one. There were a bunch of really big names.
Horse eBooks.
That, like, you know, and a lot of them became friends as a result of their interactions on Twitter.
Yeah, this is how we get all these TikTok crossovers. Is that when you become famous on a social media platform, then you are put together later.
Yeah.
And most of them live in the same big cities anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In like 2018 or 19, one of the like main figures of Weird Twitter revealed that they had been faking their personality and identity the entire time.
What?
It was
like 9 years after.
Yes.
Oh shit.
After having developed like deep personal friendships with a bunch of people on the platform.
Yeah.
So what happened was they had started their Twitter initially as like they you know, one of the first things you do when you join Twitter is that they're like, upload a profile picture. You know how social media is.
Yeah.
And so they had posted a picture of their wife. And then they posted some jokes and everyone assumed that this was a woman.
Yeah.
And then like they started connecting with a bunch of people online. And a lot of the people that they connected with were women who were like, hey, like, let's talk about being a woman in comedy. And
they
everything
like
that.
felt safe revealing things.
Exactly.
Thinking they were talking to somebody who shared experiences.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then like years later, someone found out and they were like, I'm going to tell everyone this is fucked up that you're still pretending to.
They're just catfishing the internet.
Yeah. And initially they had like a nondescript name. I can't remember what it was, but it was like hard-boiled egg or something like that.
Yeah.
And then later they changed it to a woman's name.
It was like they just got lost in the personality.
Yeah, but to the point that they like fully lied nonstop.
It's a full catfish. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the news came out and everyone was like, wow, this is crazy. Like they like dog sat for me while I was out of town and I didn't know. It's like, oh my God.
You let somebody who didn't know dog sit for you?
They thought that they knew them.
Unless they sent their wife.
I don't think so. I also, part of the reason why it came out is because he and his wife got divorced.
And she was like, it's time. Yeah. Give me back my identity, you bitch.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Maybe you should do an off-topic about that. You should do a little research and see if there's enough in there to do an off-topic.
No, it's a huge bummer. Like, a lot of comedians that I really respect had their hearts broken. They found out that a friend of theirs for many years was lying the entire time. And also, after the fact, the person was like, I'm the real victim here. And, like, everyone should actually want to be my friend. And, like... It was a whole thing. Anyways, that's like the whole story. And I was a little bit excited that
you thought I was going to do a deep dive on this very depressing case of stolen identity / secret identity.
Yes.
Nope, it's not that.
Damn.
It's a haunting.
A haunting.
It's a haunting.
I love it.
Okay. Are you ready? Just getting ready.
Woo!
All right. Adam Ellis's first tweet was a thread. The first thread that he tweeted. Twitter.
Tweet twat.
Tweet twat. His first tweet was on August 7th, 2017. I also have it written down in bold. I'm going to tell you when I'm just reading directly from his text. This is just his Twitter. I'm just telling you the full story beginning to end off his Twitter. And it was all put together in one place on a site called Wakelet, and I've linked it in the description. It says, quote, "So my apartment is currently being haunted by the ghost of a dead child, and he's trying to kill me." A thread. Mm-hmm. He started appearing in dreams, and I think he's crossed over into the real world now. He explained that the first time he saw this child was while he was sleeping. Adam has he's always suffered from sleep paralysis, like his whole life. He mentioned, he's like, it sucks. It's not fun or good, but it's something I'm pretty used to. And so he mentioned he woke up with sleep paralysis one night, and he saw a little boy sitting in this green rocking chair that was kind of at the foot of his bed. Which I thought already, you're inviting a haunting. Don't put a rocking chair in your room.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's just classic. It doesn't look like, it's not like an old school rocking chair. It's like a solid green, like, bucket chair, basically. But yeah, you would like it, actually. Let me show you the picture.
Yeah, let's see some interior design.
This is the chair.
Oh, I hate it, actually.
Okay, never mind. She hates it. Okay, so the little boy had a big misshapen head with a big dent in the side. And he was like, I drew a picture of it because he's an artist, and so he drew a picture of kind of what this little boy looked like in his dream. Mm-hmm. This is
horrifying.
Not good. Big, it is exactly what he said. Big, misshapen, there's like tufts of hair coming out. He's got like a big dent in the side. He said that after a while of simply staring at him, the child got up and started, quote, shambling towards the bed.
But
Ellis explained that he couldn't move because of the sleep paralysis, and so he just had to watch this happen. And luckily, right as the child reached the bed, he was able to pull himself out of it, and he woke up fully screaming. Like, he was just in the midst of screaming, like he was really freaked out by this dream. A few nights later, he had another dream. In this one, he was in a library when a little girl came up to him and asked, quote, "You've seen Dear David, haven't you?" And Ellis said, "Who?" And she said, "Dear David, you saw him." And she went on to explain some rules. This is the tweet. She continued, "He's dead. He only appears at midnight, and you can ask him 2 questions if you say, 'Dear David,' first." Before he woke up, so he's like listening to this, and he's about to wake up, and she says, "But never try to ask him a 3rd question or he'll kill you."
Yeah.
And then he woke up. So Adam tweeted that he was really freaked out by these dreams. He was terrified because it felt weird that he had 2 dreams about the same thing, right? He was like, one dream is like freaky. 2 dreams about the same thing is like a little upsetting. Very scary. But a couple of weeks went by without any incident, and he started to put it behind him. He told a couple people, and then he just left it alone. Until David came back. Just like before, he was sitting in that green rocking chair, staring at Adam in the bed. And Adam said in the dream, he asked him, "Dear David, how did you die?" And the child answered, "An accident in the store." And so he asked, "Dear David, what happened in the store?" And the little boy groaned, "A shelf was pushed on my head." And so this is a tweet. "I'm frozen with fear. I asked, who pushed the shelf?" David doesn't answer.
Fuck.
Why did you just... Why did you just...
That's the third question.
That's the third question.
The rules.
He woke up terrified, remembering that he had accidentally done what he was told not to. He asked a third question. Now, you also have to remember, this is happening in real time for him. It's been weeks since he had that dream about that little girl. So, like, it's not like this has been something that he's been, like, you know, just got this information. And also, he's dreaming, so it's not like you can really control what you're doing in dreams that much anyway. But, goodness, he just asked a third question. He also didn't start it with "Dear David."
Fuck. But for me, a person who loves riddles and like riddle stories.
Yeah.
I have had it happen in dreams before where it's like, don't like ask any questions or something like that. And my brain is always like, I wonder who did that.
You play the improv question game where you can't ask a question and where you can only
the
ask
opposite of that improv game. Just like, someone would probably love to know who did that.
Not I, of course.
No.
For the next couple days, Adam started Googling deaths in the city, trying to find any accidents in stores or deaths of children named David, but nothing matched. He tried other similar names next, like Daniel or Dylan, but still, nothing was coming up. And a few more weeks went by without incident, so he was like, oh, just really fucking weird. Also, you're going to find out as we go on, Adam Ellis is an extremely practical person. He explains away literally everything. He tries to debunk literally everything. I've never seen a ghost story with more, like, doubt in it. He goes as long as he can, holding on to any semblance of sanity. In this time, the apartment above his became vacant. So he was on the first floor. He lives in a duplex. He was on the first floor. And the one above him, which is bigger than his, suddenly, like, the people moved out. And so he was able to move into that one. And he was thrilled, right? Because he's like, more space. I can get out of this weird one where I had 3 very upsetting dreams. Great. A few months went by after he moved in. No sign from Dear David. And he tweeted, "I think he lost track of me because I moved upstairs." And it was just like a, you know... I'm gone now. He's haunting that apartment. See you later. But something strange started happening in that new apartment. Every night at midnight exactly, his 2 cats would gather at the front door and stare at it as though something were waiting on the other side of the door.
Oh, are you going to show me the video?
I am going to I'll show you a picture.
Okay.
Because the video is just them staring, but this is them.
Fuck me, dude. That's so scary.
Because pets are scary.
Yeah.
We have our own ghost stories that have happened in this particular house, and it's never scarier than, like, there were several times that the dogs would gather at the door barking and then just stop barking and then sit down and stare. And it was like, fuck, no.
Ooh, no.
No. So it was every night at midnight. So he has those pictures and videos. He even peeked through the peephole one night, and he swore he saw movement on the other side. He opened the door and didn't see anyone in the hallway, but his cats were, like, obviously agitated. Their tails were super bushy. They were, like, growling. Like, they were really upset, which is not something that they normally do, right? Can open that door whenever he wants, and the cats don't care. Yeah. But at this time, they are, like, on edge. Adam ended this thread on August 7th with, quote, "And that's where I am right now. Dear David found me, I think. I don't know what to do. I'll keep you updated." On August 9th, Adam updated the thread with a video of his cat staring up at the door, meowing at midnight. Right? He also shows a little clock. He's like, yeah, it's midnight. Whoops. His cat's name is Maxwell. And he's obviously very clearly responding to something on the other side of that door. Like, it is... I don't have to show you the video unless you really want to see it.
No, I've seen the video. Yeah. I feel like I remember, I might have made this up, but I feel like I remember seeing one of, like, at midnight, the 2 cats at the door and just doing that, like, low, like, cat.
There's several videos.
Growl of, like...
Yeah, there's several videos. And this one, he's just, like, meowing. Like, he looks distressed. He's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? There's somebody over there.
Yeah.
Go answer the door. Or maybe don't answer the door. It's hard to tell what cats know.
Do something, Papa.
He mustered up the courage to snap a picture through the peephole, and he wrote that he wasn't sure if he was correct, but that it looked like there was a shape hiding in the stairwell. So right across from his door, there's a stairwell, there's like a little bookcase thing in the hallway. It's a pretty dumpy hallway, to be honest. And so he's like, it kind of looks like there's something there, but you can't really tell. And so he snapped another picture through the same keyhole, and he's like, there's clearly something there. So, I'm sorry, this is grainy. So this is what it looks like normally. Bookshelf, stairwell, banister, right? This is the picture that he snapped. Do you see the shape?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like something is literally darting behind this bookshelf, and he just missed it, right? And he's like, oh, not great.
Upsetting.
Yeah, that's not great. He tweeted that he was going to deadbolt the door and hide in bed because literally what else was there going to do? He's like, I could leave, but then I'd be going down the stairwell and something is down there. So, nope.
Fuck, dude.
Sleep tight. The next night, he got a sleep sound app. So at this point, I think everyone on Twitter is giving him all sorts of like suggestions. They're like, fuck it, get this. This is a thing that you can get. Here's this tip. Fucking salt the door. He's like, okay. So he got the sleep sound app. And basically, if any sound is made during the night, the phone will automatically start recording, right? The next couple days, he documented when his cats gathered at the door. He joked that this was their routine now. And he laid salt down in front of the door. And he has a picture of like regular like Morton's table salt. And he's like, does this one work? Is this like a good brand? I don't know. On August 11th, he updated everyone about the sound app. He said, quote, I used a sound app to record my apartment last night. It makes individual recordings each time it hears something. There were 33 recordings. Most of them were like outside noises. He lives in New York, I think, so like just cars and, you know, regular things that you would hear. A couple of them, I think, caught like the cats. So like he's like, a lot of these are explainable. But there were 3 that caught his attention. The first was a snap, followed by what sounded like a footstep. Right? He was like, that one's just so weird. It sounds like somebody stepping. It didn't sound like the cat's thumping anywhere. The second was this electrical static sound. And it was the only one of the recordings that had this sound. And it lasted like a full, like 5 minutes, I think.
Jesus.
And then it stopped. And the third was another snap, followed by the sound of him groaning in his sleep. Right? And he was like, these ones are weird. And also, all 3 of these were recorded between 2 and 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. And then all the other ones were normal. So he's like, anyway, that's weird. So he included those on his thread as well. On August 14th, Adam bought a Polaroid camera just as like a fun, campy thing to have. He was like, they're kind of stupid. They're like inherently creepy. I wanted a Polaroid camera. I was excited. So he tested his new toy out by snapping some pictures around his apartment. And these ones all came out like fine. So these are the ones that he snapped because they're normal. They're just of his apartment.
Yeah.
However, when he went to snap a picture of that hallway outside of his door, because he was like, let's see, something weird happened. It developed completely black. So now he was like, all right, here's the thing. That's a glitch. Obviously, maybe the Polaroid just like messed up. So he ruined a whole new pack of like the pictures to see if maybe they're just black when they're undeveloped, right? He's like, clearly that's just undeveloped film. He opened them up. They are all white. So he ruined a whole pack of these just to test it out. They're all white. The next thing he thought was, maybe I put my finger over the viewfinder thing, you know? Mm-hmm. So he was like, that's probably what I did. And so he covered it with his finger, and it came out obviously very different. Do you want to describe it?
Yeah, it's like grainy and gray. It's much lighter than the fully black picture, and it has more like variation to it. Like you can kind of see it's like lighter around the edges where like the edges of your finger are.
Yeah, like it is so very clearly different than this like pure black one. So he thinks that's pretty weird, right?
This isn't real, but I do remember my dad was a photographer in the 90s before we had digital cameras that we used all the time.
Yeah, they were just more widely used.
Yeah. So, he used to use a film camera to like shoot weddings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the worst thing that ever happened was one time he got halfway through a wedding ceremony and realized that his lens cap was on.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah. And fortunately, it was okay. Like he was able to, you know, get the rest of everything. But like lens cap fear is a very specific kind of fear that I will never not feel.
When I was on yearbook committee in high school, that was like a thing that happened constantly. We were always like, God damn it. That being said, there's no lens caps on a Polaroid camera. So but yeah, that is real. Okay. So that same night, he took videos of him using his camera. So he was like, you know what? Like, now I'm going to test this out with full video on without editing this. Like, you can just see it. So there are 2 videos. He took a picture of his living room first, and then he sets it down. And he's like, it's going to take a while to develop. And then he turns the video off. Then he turns it back on. And he's like, okay, so now I'm going to take a picture of the hallway. So he opens the door and he snaps a picture of the hallway through the door, right? But he leaves the camera on. Like, now at this point, it's not like he's cutting it and then showing like a developed picture. He's just like, he keeps it in his hand, but he goes back to the other picture. It has basically almost finished developing. You see his living room, right? And then he sits down and he shows the picture as it develops on camera. I'm going to show you the video. Here we go.
Now I'm gonna...
Oh, I didn't like that. God. Instant stress from seeing this hallway.
Okay, so we just watched it develop completely black in real time. I also think these things are important because he's constantly updating people, and obviously people are trying to debunk his stuff. But also, he's trying to debunk his stuff. Mm-hmm. He's trying his goddamn hardest. I don't think anybody's ever tried harder than he has. He's like, scientific theory, okay? Here's my hypothesis. Here's it being proved wrong. Oh shit, we're back to square one. He tweeted, someone told me to take photos from farther away, so I tried that. Once with my iPhone and once with my Polaroid. When he did that, the results were honestly goddamn terrifying.
The iPhone picture shows, like, the inside of his living room, the open front door, and the hallway and stairs outside, and the Polaroid photo shows the inside of his living room, the open front door, and then everything behind the door is black.
Yeah. And it's a fucking Polaroid. He's holding it in his hand.
Yeah.
Now that could have been altered digitally, right? Just like, you know, for people who are like, I want to debunk this. Very easily, he's an artist, he has an iPad, but like, it is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
He tweeted several times that there must be something wrong with the camera, that there has to be an explanation. He also tried to debunk his own theories several times. At the end, he apologized if the tweets were convoluted and hard to understand, which they weren't, but that he just thought it was really weird and worth sharing, which they were. On August 14th, he followed some suggestions from people on Twitter and bought Sage, right? Because they were like, fucking smudge that shit, which I also am like, smudge that shit. Helped us.
Counterpoint, move out.
Okay, he addresses that later. He smudged the hallway and the rocking chair and the rest of his apartment too. And he wrote that he didn't think the Sage would do much. Like, he was like, this isn't gonna work. But also, I'm very scared to be in my home. So smudge. Here we go. He was basically at this point, he was like, I don't like the idea of saging, but also I am desperate. He doesn't seem like a believer in anything really spiritual, right? At this point, he's afraid to go to sleep. He wrote that he had woken up several times in the night with the feeling that something was wrong, right? He's like, this terrible feeling is starting to just be with me all the time, especially at night. On August 15th, he opened with this tweet, Sage did not work. Fuck. Even though he hadn't seen David in months, that night he had a dream that the room was filled with smoke and David was sitting on the green chair again. This time he was smaller, quote, almost shrunken. But he didn't do anything at all. He just sat there. Adam admitted that it felt like a bad omen. On August 18th, he updated Twitter again. The cats were still waiting at the door every night at midnight, and his sleep app was picking up this static sound that would last 5 minutes a night, always at around 3 a.m., right? And he has all this proof. Like, he has everything documented. It was just like, and timestamped. It's all getting really weird. He wrote that he debated tweeting this part because it sounds made up, right? He's like, I know, guys. I know it. He also doesn't update every day. He's not on a regular schedule. It's just like, sometimes he'll go like a couple weeks without updating and be like, I was debating sharing this because it sounds so fucking weird. But he says that morning he had woken up to the whole house shaking, like there was an earthquake. He tweeted that at midnight he had this uneasy feeling, like there was a thunderstorm that was coming. And the next night, he got an alert on his phone that a severe thunderstorm was approaching. He's like, oh, fuck, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm predicting the weather. Who knows? He acknowledged that everyone had been telling him to move, but that he wasn't sure that whatever was happening wouldn't follow him if he left. Because he was like, I already moved. I thought that it had lost track of me. And the fact that it hadn't, I'm not just going to pick up and move, you know?
I mean, he's in the same building.
He is in the same building.
To me, I would at least try.
I would talk to my neighbors. You know, I would find the people, I would ask for the details of the people who moved out above me and see if they had experienced anything.
Yeah.
That's me. On August 21st, he wrote that while everything up until then had been creepy, he was now feeling unsafe in his home. He was like, I was scared. Now I don't feel safe. The thunderstorm had passed on Friday, but he suddenly started feeling very tired. So every night he was like his whole body was like shutting down. He was like, fuck. And so he went to sleep really early on that Friday night. That night he had a dream that Dear David was dragging him by the arm through an abandoned warehouse. The next morning, and he also mentioned, he's like, it's dream logic, right? How come this little kid is so strong and can just drag me around? How come I'm not moving or fighting? I'm not even trying to get away. It's just the dream of him dragging me through this abandoned warehouse. And then he woke up. The next morning, he got in the shower, like getting ready for work, and he noticed a huge bruise on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see this.
It looks like a bruise in the shape of small fingers wrapped around his wrist.
Yeah, and it's like pretty. It's like a hand. It's like you can see like 4 little like lines of this bruise underneath all his arm hair, which I also think is hard to fake with arm hair. He tried to logic the fear away. He thought that maybe he had hurt his arm the day before, and then while he was sleeping, his brain tried to justify the pain. He's like, that's just how dreams work. There's an explanation for them. You know, my body was probably like, ow, there's a thing. So he decided to shake it off, and he went to go get coffee. On his way to the coffee shop, which he did pretty much every morning, right? He would stop at this coffee shop. He knew he would pass a food cart repair depot. He explained that he had lived in this neighborhood for 4 years, and this depot was always packed, especially on weekends, with carts that needed repair. It was just where all of the old food carts go to get fixed. However, as he passed by today, which he had done the day before, he was stunned to see that it had been completely gutted and abandoned. So he snapped a few pictures of the doors, and then he walked inside.
Christ.
He has no fear.
Christ.
Again, I think this is because he doesn't believe in ghosts, and he has a logical brain that is like, I'm gonna figure this out. Mostly he was like, I've never seen this. I've lived here for 4 years, and I've never seen it not completely packed. I've never seen it closed. Like, what the hell? So he kind of walks inside of this, like, now abandoned little warehouse area. And inside, he found that it was almost completely abandoned, with one notable exception. There was now a green chair in the middle of this warehouse. Not the same type of chair that he has, but it is like a regular kitchen table chair, and it's painted green.
Yeah, it's like a wooden chair with like an arched back and like slats.
Yeah.
And it has a wood color, like a natural wood colored seat, and then the rest of it's painted dark green.
Yeah. He doesn't go into like huge leaps in being like, green, so far he's doing this, but he's like, this is notable, I think. It's just the only thing in the middle of this goddamn abandoned warehouse.
His name is David Greenchair.
Oh, David Green Eyes. So on his way from getting his coffee, he's like coming back. He saw that the warehouse had been shuttered while he was out. He just got coffee, came back, and it was closed. And so he was like, okay. And then it never opened again. He never saw it open again after that. He mentioned that with all these small coincidences, that seemed huge to me, but like, okay. He was starting to get kind of scared, right? He said really scared. On Friday, August 25th, Adam tweeted that things had started to kind of escalate. For example, his cats, who had gathered and cried at the door at midnight every night for weeks, had suddenly started gathering earlier, closer to 10 p.m. He said that they would go to the door, they would cry for 15 minutes, and then they would wander off as if nothing had happened. But then one day, at 10:30, after they had wandered off, Adam started getting calls from an unmarked number. He screenshotted his phone, and it was just a wall of no caller ID, no caller ID, no caller ID, just like one after another. He explained that, he's like, listen, I had heard with telemarketers, like automated telemarketers, that if you answer once for them, that they won't call again, because it's like, cool, we got them, and then they'll cross you off the list, basically, like automatically take you off. So one of the times that he got this call, after like 10 missed calls, he answered. When he picked up, he said he heard a long minute of static, just like the static that the sleep app picked up every night. He waited for it to end because he's like, I wonder if there's going to be like a automated message at the end. And also he was feeling really fucking weird about it. So he just kind of waited for a little while. But the static just stopped. And then there was silence. And so he was like, all right. His heart is racing. He's freaked out by this. Like, he's not like nonchalant, like, this is fine. But he's like, okay, freaky. So he starts to hang up. He starts to like basically go to hang up. Just before he did, he said he heard a very quiet voice say, hello. This is the tweet. Something about the way they said hello freaked me out. It wasn't a question or a greeting, just hello. A flat statement. So quiet, I could barely hear it. Fuck. So he hung up the phone in a panic. He closed his curtains, turned on all his lights. He said he watched TV until dawn because he was afraid to go to sleep, and he felt like he was losing his mind. Which I don't blame him.
Yep.
He said, quote, if I looked at each individual incident on its own, there are perfectly logical explanations for everything that is happening. But after 3 weeks of weird shit happening, I don't know how to make sense of it all. Which is fair. He let everyone know that he had moved the green chair out of his bedroom and that he would have gotten rid of it because they were like, throw that chair away. But he wasn't sure if that would end anything because he's like, I don't know if it has anything to do with the chair. Like, honestly. And so he also told everyone that he was going to Japan soon. So he had this like trip that was scheduled. And he was like, I think leaving the country, dear David might just forget about me. The way that he seemed to lose track of him when he had moved to the new apartment. So he's like, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. Like, he might get bored. So...
What about the cats?
I know. So he bought a pet camera. Oh, he knows too.
Okay.
So he bought a pet camera that he could use to check on the cats while he was overseas. He set it up and he decided to test it out on a night that he wouldn't be in his apartment. So throughout the day, he had his phone like hooked up to this app. So every time the cats moved around and stuff, it would ping, right? Like motion detected, like noise detected and stuff like that. And everything was normal. But around 11 p.m., it alerted him to motion detected. When he checked it, nothing was there. He watched it for a bit, didn't see anything. He turned it back on, still didn't see anything. Finally, he checked it for a third time because he just kept getting these like motion detected and then like nothing was there. And he would watch it for a while and be like, well, what the hell? Mm-hmm. There's nothing there. The third time it did this and he checked this camera, he was staring at that green chair, which is now in his living room. And it started to rock on its own. Mm-mm. And there is a video. And it got me.
It's a very, like, it's clearly not like the building shaking or something. Mm-hmm. It is a very intentional and limited rock forward, rock back, rock forward, rock back, as though someone is sitting in the chair and rocking gently.
Yeah. Above the bookshelf, there's this little black circle. That's a turtle shell that he has mounted above his bookshelf. The next time he got a notification that was like motion detected, it was the turtle shell falling off the wall. And there's a video, but it was just, that's all it is. And so I'm just going to tell you about it. Okay. So he turned the camera off and he tried not to panic because he wasn't home and there was nothing he could do about it. And also it wasn't like anything super dangerous was happening. It was just very unsettling, right? He got another alert about an hour later. The turtle shell was falling down. So when he got home, he moved the chair into the hallway and then basically just hoped nothing else would happen. He's like, there, now the chair's out. I told you guys I wasn't going to get rid of it and I was wrong and I'm sorry. Now it's gone. September 5th. The camera's recorded 24/7 now, right? It wasn't just for the trip now. He just had it up all the time. Adam tweeted a video taken from the living room on Saturday while he was asleep. His cats were minding their own business. They're being relatively calm when his cat Maxwell suddenly jumped up and jumped over something. And it was like it's such a cat jumping over something, but you can't see anything there. On the coffee table nearby, a green cup slid a fraction of an inch over. Adam doesn't even mention this in the video. I don't know when he tweeted this if he had even noticed the cup, but it freaked me the fuck out. The next night, Maxwell started acting really strange. He was standing on his hind legs on the couch, just standing there upright, which is already very freaky to me.
I don't like that.
Watching something in front of him. And he would do this for minutes at a time, just head moving, watching something in front of him standing up. The night after the camera caught him standing on his hind legs, the first time he reached out his little arm and started swatting at something in front of him. And Adam Ellis was like, this isn't normal behavior for my cat. Just so you know, he doesn't do this. That's not a fun him thing. On Saturday, September 16th, Adam tweeted that he had been having so many nightmares. That day, he had taken a nap and he had this terrible dream. In it, he was sleeping in his bed and rolled over to face the other side. This is really disturbing. Just a heads up. In his bed next to him was a severed head with a bloody spine hanging out of it, and it was snaking along the bed. The head was somehow still alive and was grinning at him. And he said, quote, "Horrified, I screamed, 'What happened to you?' The head smiled even bigger. 'It feels great,' the head groaned." So he woke up, and it was completely dark outside. Like, he had taken a nap during the daytime and then woke up. It's all dark from this horrifying nightmare. He couldn't shake the dream. He decided to go for a walk, if anything, to get out of his apartment. So he went to this bodega down the street, and, of course, in order to get to that bodega, he has to pass by that warehouse that now freaks him out, even though it's closed. He got his snack, which is like Doritos and a seltzer. I don't know why that's important, but he specified it, so I will too. Adam Ellis eats Doritos just like us.
Wow, he's
stars.
Just like us.
They really are just like us. So when he's passing by the warehouse on the way back, he hears a dull thunk from behind the shutters. And he's like, I would have walked home, but so many fucking things have been happening, and I've been documenting everything up until this point, and also I'm freaked out, and also I'm very curious. And so he's like, fuck it. There's a grated window next to the shutter, and it's too high up to, like, peek through. And he's like, also, I'm not putting my head near that, but maybe I'll just, like, go up, take my phone, take a picture, and then run like hell. And so that's what he did. Takes a picture, and then he runs away. He didn't even look at it right away because he was freaked out. He was already freaked out from this dream. Like, one thing after another is happening to this poor guy. When he did look at the picture, he saw what looked like a ripped up old office chair, and there's a lot of insulation that had, like, piled down on top of the chair. So when I show you this picture, it's going to look like there's, like, a human standing there, but there's... Oh, it's still playing.
I keep catching movement out of the corner of my eye.
I'm sorry. Must have been really freaky.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay, so this picture, there's two pictures side by side. Oh, shit. When I look at it here, I see what he was talking about. So... so freaky. I didn't see that the first time. I'm freaked out. Basically, the picture through the window, it's going to look like there's, like, a person there. There's not. It's insulation. But off to the side, he zooms in on what looks like this kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that.
A lot of this, too, he was like, I'm sorry, guys, this is really dark. Turn up your phone brightness. Later on, people, like, digitally edited it where they were like, turn up the exposure real high. But he didn't mess with the exposure, right? He was just like, turn on your brightness.
It's also, the drawing that he did of the kid in his dream is very much like his art style.
Yes.
This is like the real...
Yeah.
Realistic a child who looks like that.
This doesn't look like Adam Ellis's art.
Yeah, no, this looks like a child.
He is a cartoonist. So he also said, he's like, listen, I think that my brain is so freaked out by this that it is trying to put David into everything I see. He's like, I think that every noise is now David to me. Every picture that I see, every weird shape is now David to me. But I am giving you what I have because I'm freaked out and it makes me feel better to document it. But also, this is just that kid. On September 22nd, he tweeted that the last few days had been quiet. He was leaving for Japan in a few hours, and he had been trying to avoid anything weird and just, like, ignore stuff. He was convinced that if he just left the country for a few weeks, everything would be better. So, he went to Japan and had a great time.
Leave your cats with a friend.
Well, he had people pet sitting and stuff like that. But, like, up till now, the cats haven't been, like, super bothered by anything. It's just, like, they've been watching stuff, right? I know.
Leave your cats with a friend.
So he went to Japan. He tweeted a picture on September 29th of a votive tablet that he had bought at a shrine, right? And it says, please protect my cats while I'm away from home. Chinese, with little Japanese characters next to it. And it's very cute. So he had this great trip, and he had these little, like, pictures that he was updating people with. On October 3rd, he wrote about his last day in Japan. It was another thread, which is, you know that something fucked up's going to happen if it's another thread. He's still in Japan. Quote, this morning I went for a long walk around Sapporo. I never really plan my vacations. I like to wander a lot and see what I find. I came across this statue in a park. I couldn't find out any real information about it online, but it was weird and it was pretty. Adam Ellis is also kind of fucked up, so, like, he thought this was weird and pretty. You want to describe it?
Yeah, it's a column that has carved into it the figures of a bunch of people climbing over each other, mostly, like, women and children, climbing around each other and, like, forming the shape of this pillar.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of all the art of, like, Dante's Inferno, like the Gates of Hell. You know, they all look like they're naked as well.
Yeah.
And in the middle, there's a woman holding a baby, and there are, like, some flowers and stuff. It's pretty freaky.
I don't like this baby. That baby's face is fucked up.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he's just staring right out with little holes for eyes. Not good. So it's a freaky statue, but he's like, I kind of like this. It's really fucking weird. So he starts walking around it, getting like pictures of it from every angle, right? Because it's a cylinder. However, when he got to the other side of the statue, he stopped dead in his tracks because of this. One of the figures on the statue, which was a baby being held by a woman, had a disfigured, dented head. He tried to tell himself that it was just a coincidence and that he was overreacting, but it seemed really weird and it just gave him a really bad taste in his mouth. He was like, fuck. But again, he's like, maybe I'm just trying to see David everywhere. But he had been having a really good trip up until then. But yeah, it freaked him out. This looks a lot like that kid. Mm-hmm. So he went home, back to the States, and he updated the world that his cats were doing well. He had a selfie holding his cats. He doesn't look happy, but like, he's like, here we go. My cats are alive. On October 14th, he tweeted that the electricity in his apartment had been acting weird. 2 bulbs had gone out in the hallway in less than a week. Like, the second he replaced it, like, he went inside and then it blew out again. The second time it did that, he just didn't replace it. He was like, fuck it.
Why not?
Well, also, it's his landlord's job. He didn't say that, but... Weirder. He has this backlight on his TV. It's basically an LED strip that plugs into the TV through the USB port, right? And then it's just like... whatever he's watching, it flashes those lights behind the TV. Since it's for the TV, it can't turn on unless the TV is on. But throughout that week, while the TV was off, it had started flickering. He noticed the light flickering just before dawn one morning, when he had woken up to get some water. The next day, that LED light was dead, which wasn't supposed to happen. It was basically only a couple months old, so he was like, what the fuck? Too unnerved to go back to sleep, he went to a diner at 4 a.m. and he got some breakfast. He was like, it's the only place that was open. He put a picture of his breakfast in his tweets. He's like, it was bad. I didn't like it. The eggs were fine. Then he got back home and he decided like, well, it's not worth going back to sleep now. I'm already amped up and I have to go to work soon. So he took a shower and he started getting dressed for work. As he was passing his front door on his way back from the shower, he heard a faint scratching sound at the door. Too afraid to look through the peephole, he snapped a picture through the peephole with his phone. At first, this just looks normal. You want to describe what you're seeing?
Yeah, it's a shot through a peephole. You can see kind of in the foreground, out of focus, are like sort of like scratches or smudges on the peephole lens, you know, just kind of
on regular, his side.
On his side. And then you can see through to the other side, like you can see the inside of the door and then the lens on the other side. And you can see a little bit of a reflection of the light inside the house on the lens. Outside, just light reflecting off of glass. And then there are a couple of like sort of just shadowy shapes in the background.
Yeah, it's like all dark. There's like a crescent moon little light flare in the middle of it. Keep that in front of you. So he's looking at it, and he's like, it kind of looks like an eye looking back at me.
Oh, it looks like an ear. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep. When he looked back again, though, he saw the clear outline of an ear and the side of a face. This was somebody looking at him through the peephole.
I don't like it.
It's kind of cat-like. The eye is too big.
Oh, I really don't like it.
Yep.
We have to watch such a fun movie after this.
Oh, leap year again for like the second time in 2 months?
No.
Okay. Adam tweeted, quote, I think maybe it's time to get someone else involved. It's obvious this isn't going to stop until I do something. On October 26th, he updated Twitter. So this has been a while. He's like taking a couple weeks in between tweeting all of these things, right? On October 26th, he updated Twitter that he had had a friend come over and do a cleansing ritual on his apartment and the hallway. So he was like, listen, all of these like self-professed mediums have been reaching out to me, trying to get my address to come to my home. He had been approached by several ghost hunting TV shows that were like, let us come and spend the night in your apartment. Let us do this. But he had declined them because he was like, I don't want to sensationalize what's going on in this house. I just don't want to. Also, to me, it's clearly attached to him, you know? Mm-hmm. But also, I grew up Catholic, right? And I grew up Filipino Catholic, so that's like magic and all sorts of crazy fun things. It's like Filipino folk Catholic is what we call it. But my sister had I'm going to get rid of those.
Please. Thank you.
My sister had this thing, like, she was living in Monterey, and all of these weird things were happening in this very old building that they were all housed in. And all of her friends and her were freaking the fuck out. It was just like a lot of stuff was happening and they were all getting, it was like mass hysteria at that point, right? Like nobody could sleep. Everybody was freaked out by it. So she ended up calling our old priest and he was like, hey, stop it. And she was like, stop what? And he was like, stop feeding it. And she's like, what does that mean? And he's like, you are feeding whatever is there. If there's anything there, the more you react to it, you are feeding it. It's getting stronger. Stop it. And like, that's kind of, to me, when Adam was like, I don't want to sensationalize what's happening here, is because like all of these tweets and all of these pictures and the more afraid that he is, like, I feel like I had the distinct memory of my priest saying, stop feeding it. Yeah. You know?
There's a concept in folklore that I think gained a lot of prominence after it was featured in the television program Supernatural. Oh. And it's the idea of a tulpa, which is a spirit or figure that exists because it is believed in. So it's like the idea of like there's an urban legend, but if enough people believe that it's real, it becomes real.
Yeah.
It's like a fucked up kind of Tinkerbell situation.
It also reminds me of American Gods, how Neil Gaiman had set up that like the gods could be transferred to other countries if enough people were worshiping and sacrificing to them.
Yeah. And even like different versions of the same gods. Like they have the Jesus convention and stuff like that of like all the different kinds of Jesus that people believe in. Yeah, I think it's a really good way to think. Like the term tulpa, I think, gained a lot of popularity after Supernatural. But it is like this idea of, you know, when people like pray to gods for something to happen and then the thing happens, it's like, okay, but what are the gods getting out of it? You know, like the concept of prayer as like power and life force is very...
That's how the Greeks believed it. It's the reason why Demeter starving the earth worked to get Persephone back, was because the gods were like, fuck, nobody's sacrificing to us anymore. Fuck, we have to fix this.
Yep.
After his friend came, so I think his friend was a medium, I think he paid that friend as well. Like, it was like let me pay you to come to my house and do your professional shit. He was like, it felt like it had worked for like a week. He was sleeping better. The cats weren't gathering at the door anymore. He felt better. Everything seemed to be better. Then one morning, he was walking to work and he passed the warehouse and it was no longer shuttered. It was wide open. It was still empty, except for one thing. There was a hearse parked in there.
What?
He took a photo of it. It was just a hearse parked in there. And he said, quote, it was weird, but I tried not to think about it because it's not at all that strange to see a hearse, I guess. Like, they have to park somewhere. But also, why was there just one hearse parked in this scary warehouse that had been haunting him? Anyway, so that was just weird, right? It wasn't like, I'm being haunted. It was like, that doesn't make me feel great.
My brain is reacting to the stress of hearing this by coming up with dumb jokes, and I'm squashing them.
Please.
But also, if I owned a hearse company, it would be called His and Hearse.
Oh, my mom.
It's specifically for people who die while they're married.
For married couples.
Yeah.
As a murder-suicide situation.
Yeah, that's the only people who can hire us. I'm very poor.
Yeah, it's a very specific market, but not impossible. My mom is one of 14 children, and when she was growing up, it's hard to find a car that'll hold 14 children. I think at one point they probably did have the truck that they would gather them all in the back and then go speeding down the road and babies would just fly off the back and everyone was like, it's the 60s.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Weirdly enough, there's no Jeremy.
Not anymore.
14 children, all named Jay, and Jeremy is lost to history.
He's somewhere off of Highway 50.
But they had a pink hearse that they would drive around in because it was the only thing that could hold all the children. But it was bright pink, which I think is fun.
Every story about your mom's family is deeply upsetting and tragic. But at the same time, I really want like a sitcom from the 60s about a family of 14 who drives around in a pink hearse.
Yeah, it's just like the opposite of the Addams Family.
Yeah. The Smata family.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
Okay, so he tried not to think about the hearse, and the next couple of days were uneventful. Then one day at 11 p.m., as he was watching TV, he got up to get like a beer from the kitchen. He noticed that his cats were gathered at his window. They were just like staring through it. And that window, basically, next to his house, there is a roof of the business next door to him. So his apartment is level with their roof. One-story building. So he looked at it and there was nothing there. And he figured that maybe they had seen like a rat or something on the roof, you know, like, or like our cats do constantly, just staring at the window at bugs and stuff. Like Leaf's whole...
Classic New York. Gotta be a rat somewhere.
Gotta be a rat. Pizza rats out there just like waving pepperoni around. So
all good for him.
Yeah, he got one.
He's doing like a sexy little fan dance with pepperonis.
Yeah, and the cats are like, oh, good job.
You nailed it. All the practice paid off, buddy.
Meow meow. A private show just for us? It's great. Maxwell is like, where's my wallet? So he shrugs and he gets his beer from the fridge. When he's reaching for the bottle opener, though, he looked out the other window, which is basically like there's multiple windows on the same wall. They face the same roof. And then he saw it. There was somebody on the roof staring at him in his kitchen. And so he like drops to the floor immediately and he like switches off the lights. Like he like goes over to light switches and just turns off all the lights in his house. His phone was in his pocket. So because he was like, fucking somebody's looking in at me.
Yeah.
Turning off the lights, which is what you do. He snapped a picture with his phone because it's in his pocket, but the figure was gone. So I looked at the pictures. I couldn't see anything. I don't know if there's two of them too. And I don't know if somebody else could see something, but I didn't see anything. He also didn't say something was in there. He said basically like it had left. He closed the blinds. He locked the door. He drank a bunch more beers. And then he tweeted, "But now I feel like I'm back at square one. I'm sure it was him. He's not going away. I don't know what to do." So like he thought that he had gotten rid of it with that cleansing ritual. Yeah. And then it was just like, nope. Now I'm outside of your house looking in. On November 6th, about 4 months after his first dream about David, he had another dream. This time, David was in a recliner. The rocking chair was gone, right? So now he's in a recliner. Just like the first time, Adam was under deep sleep paralysis, and David was staring at him. But unlike that first time, Adam was not completely paralyzed. He was able to move his hands a little bit. He said, quote, "David glared at me, and I dreaded what I knew was coming. He was going to get out of that chair and come toward me like before. He wanted to do something, so he reached for his phone next to his bed, and he started snapping pictures. Quote, sure enough, he crawled down off the chair and he began shuffling toward me. He moved slowly, like it was a struggle for him. I felt terrified, but I just kept taking photos. David limped closer toward me, never taking his eyes off me. Soon, I was face to face with him." David was murmuring something really low and really quickly, and Adam couldn't hear enough of it to understand. He just knew that he was making sounds. And then David's eyes started to roll back in his head until they were all white. Quote, "I tried to writhe away from him, but I could barely move. I stared in horror as he began crawling up onto my bed, still murmuring something." Then he woke up in a sunny, quiet room. It was morning. Adam wrote that he wouldn't have even typed all this out because it was so similar to the first one. He was like, I don't type everything that happens because it seems monotonous, right? But that day, he had gone into his phone to look for an old photo, and he found dozens of really dark photos that he had taken that night. So that had actually happened. He had been taking photos. And he tweeted them.
I don't wanna.
Unfortunately, I made you do this podcast with me.
Janey, I just took a 40-minute nap because I was so tired.
We'll watch something so fun.
And I have to go to work tomorrow.
I know.
Ugh,
Okay.
Janey, why? Why are you making me see these?
So he snapped all these pictures, right? These are 3 of the pictures that he took that night. This is the first one.
Fuck me. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Go ahead and describe what you're seeing.
Guys, I'm looking at a picture. It is dark. You can see that it's dark outside. There are like lights of buildings reflecting outside. There is a couch. There's like a blanket in the foreground that's like blocking part of the view. But on the couch, there's very, very, very clearly a child. Probably.
Francis is crying. If you hear him, that's Francis, not a ghost.
Probably like between 4 and 8.
Yeah, he's little.
Little. He's wearing like a green striped sweater. He has his hands on his lap. He's sitting on the couch, blonde hair, darkened eyes, and a huge dent in his head.
He's very clearly disfigured head. Mm-hmm. So that's the first one. He's sitting. The second one.
Oh, okay. The second one, he is either walking or running at the camera.
He's getting closer. And the third one, he said, this is the one that really upset me.
Oh, that's the one that really upset him.
Yeah, this is the one.
This one is the kid standing right next to the bed, and you can also kind of see the side of his head, and it is, like, hollowed out.
It is caved in.
Yeah. And he is very close to the foreground, and I need to throw up.
The problem is I think he's very cute. He's very cute in that he's a tiny child, right?
Yeah.
Your brain tells you, tiny child, little guy. He's got a thin neck. He's got, like, chubby cheeks.
He's got, like, a blonde bowl cut.
Well, okay, so you're gonna kind of... Never mind. Okay, so that's David. We have clear, actual images of Dear David now. And they're upsetting. Ready to get more upset?
No.
Okay, so on November 17th, he tweeted. So this has been a while now. Last time he tweeted was November 6th, right? Now it's November 17th. He tweeted, basically, hi, I'm alive. Sorry. He hadn't been tweeting and updating people because he was like, I discovered something and I've been trying to figure out how to investigate it and I'm hitting a wall. So he tells everyone, basically, he's like, I'm going to try to explain this, but bear with me. He says, basically, he lives in a duplex with his, so basically in his apartment, it's 2 floors, right? His old apartment's on the 1st floor, his new apartment's on the 2nd floor. And right next door, there's that building with the roof that is flush with his window, okay? Above him is the top of the building. It's a roof, but he doesn't have access to it. It's not like a roof anybody can go up onto. It's just the top of the building. And there's no, like, door going up to it. It's just, like, a skylight in his hallway. There's a skylight that you can see, but that's it, right? There's no, like, access. So he explained, the last time he had updated Twitter on the situation, he had been sitting in his living room on the couch. 30 seconds after he had posted his tweet with, like, the pictures and stuff, he heard a thump above his head, like someone upstairs had dropped something. That was impossible, because nobody lived upstairs. He lived on the top floor. So he mentioned, he's like, okay, this is the situation. The roof is impossible to get to. There are no ladders leading up. There are no trees next to my building. You can't even jump to it from the roof next door because it's too low. Like, there's no way to get onto my roof. So he says, quote, so I'm thinking, is there some secret crawl space in my home? I look all over my apartment, but I can't figure it out. So I go into the hallway, and that's when something dawns on me. There was a hatch in the hallway ceiling. It had always been there, but he had always assumed it had gone up to the roof. And he was so used to seeing it that literally that didn't ever register. This is what the hatch looks like. It's also a scary fucking hatch. It's dirty and cracked and dingy.
Yeah.
This is not a good apartment.
No, it's New York. It's New York,
it's
baby.
New York, baby. The hatch was really high above the stairs, too. So basically, like, the stairs are up against that wall. They immediately start going down. So, like, there's no way to put, like, you can't stand on a chair and get up to that hatch. Like, it just drops underneath. They're, like, it's, like, really high above the stairs. So he says you can only really get in with, like, a tall ladder that you can, like, stack on these chairs. He also realized that the hatch couldn't go to the roof because it was about 3 feet below the skylight. So you could see it. So there's a clear little room in there.
I remember when this came out, there were also a couple where he was like, this is what this picture is of. And then people went back later and they were like, what the fuck is that? And there are, like, things that you can see in the background of some of them.
Yeah, that's probably all of these. And I didn't look at them too quickly because, again, I was up until 5 a.m. looking at these. Okay, so he tried to do more research about where the hatch might lead. He was like, he's a cartoonist and an artist, so he was like, all right, so this is what it looks like. Here we go. Here's my little, like, reconstruction of the building. Maybe, guys, maybe there's just stairs that lead up to the roof. And he's like, why would that be? I don't know. Best case scenario. So over the next couple days, he heard more and more sounds up there. Like, now that he had heard the first one, all of a sudden it was like something was living up there. Thumping, shuffling, and one time something clinked to the floor and then rolled about 6 feet before stopping. So he bought a long pole from Amazon. It was $38.99. In case you want a long retractable pole, $38.99 on Amazon.
Probably more expensive now.
Oh. Or less expensive because nobody's bought that pole yet. So he tells Twitter that if the hatch moved when he poked it, he would either buy a ladder or he would call his landlord to investigate. And I'm like, yeah, call your landlord.
Already call your landlord.
Call them anyway. On November 28th, he updated everyone that the pole hadn't come before he had gone home for Thanksgiving, but in the days before he left, he had been woken up by a loud crash above him. It sounded like somebody had like dropped a bowling ball on like the space above his head. He described a really weird and unsettling feeling that had suddenly like happened all around him. Like it was like, you know, that static that makes your hair stand on end. With me, it's every time you come home and the dogs start barking after the house has been quiet, my ears pull back and I can't get them to pull back forward. And it's like a really upsetting, unsettling feeling.
That's an animal instinct.
And I have it.
I have it too.
Yeah, I think that we all just have it. But also like, it's not fun, right?
Yeah, because the reason why some people can wiggle their ears is because there's an animal instinct of like rotating your ears. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you can wiggle your ears consciously, right?
Yeah.
So like prey animals especially can rotate their ears to try and locate something like a sound that they hear, sometimes even below. This is
bad news for all those alphas out there who can wiggle their ears.
Sorry, guys. But also, if you can wiggle your ears, like if you can pull your ears back, you'll notice that when your ears are in like their standard position, you have a lot more auditory discernment where you can like focus on certain things. If your ears are back, you're more collecting all sound equally.
Yeah, and so, it's very overwhelming and unpleasant.
Yeah, so it's like it's less filtering sounds. It's more like you're getting all of the ambient sound when your ears are back like that. And it gives me the squicks.
Yeah, it's not good. It's the reason why I asked somebody, I put earplugs on my Amazon wish list for my classes. Mm-hmm. Because when my students are too loud and there's like an incident, I can't focus. So that's the feeling that he's having, right? I assume. After a moment, he heard another crash above him. He thought about getting his shoes and leaving because it was really upsetting, but he realized that he would have to run underneath the hatch in order to get out of his building. And that didn't seem like a good idea, so he stayed in bed. And I understand that. I hide.
You telling me it's New York and there's no fire escape out the window?
There's not. So he mentioned this. He lives in a 2-story apartment, so like there's no stairs leading up or down the building. The crashing happened 15 more times.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
One after another. And then, after a long silence, he heard a small creaking in the hallway, and then silence.
Oh, Jesus goddamn Christ.
Eventually, he managed to fall back asleep, because he wasn't going to get out of bed again. And I do this. I'm like, nope, fuck it. We're staying here until I am back in this sweet release of sleep. The next morning, he woke up and everything seemed to be back to normal. It was Saturday, so he walked to go get his breakfast and his coffee, the same as he did every Saturday. On his way down the stairs, though, his feet crunched on debris on the staircase. It looked like dirt just all along his staircase, and it was directly under the hatch. Something else was weird. It looked like something was caught in the hatch. So, like before, it was, show you again, the hatch. It's just like a normal hatch, right? This time, when he looked at it, there was something in the corner of it. Mm-hmm. Or on the side of it.
Yeah, it looks like the corner of something is like wedged underneath the lip of the hatch.
Yeah.
Just like an inch of something.
And it was not like that before that he could remember. So he was like, what the hell? So he abandoned his coffee and breakfast plan.
Sure.
He got his pole.
I'm gonna laugh my fucking ass off if he finally gets up to the attic and there's just a possum.
Oh, how relieved would he be if it was just a family of raccoons holding knives and like doing cocaine? He'd be like, thank God, guys. Honestly, I thought you were something worse.
Even if it was like, I always think about that like terrifying story of the woman in Japan living in someone's like kitchen cabinets.
This is stuff that's happened here in the United States.
Yeah, but
squatters.
Like, even if there was like a person up there, that would still be
definitive evidence that you are not being haunted by something you can't stop. Mm-hmm. You can stop a homeless person with a knife and a vendetta and a picture of your wife.
To be clear, you can stop a homeless person who has a knife.
You can stop them with a picture of your wife in one hand.
No,
and
it sounded like you were saying you can stop a homeless person with a knife.
You can stab them if you want it.
You shouldn't.
I'm not saying
Houseless
you should.
people
I'm just saying
are not criminals.
Hold a picture of your wife in one hand. She'll give you strength to stab people.
Jesus Christ.
Whew. So he set up his camera in the hallway, and he grabbed the pole. TM. Mm-hmm. When he nudged the hatch with the pole, something small and dingy, like gray-black, fell out of it. So he dodged out of the way, and he's like, fuck! So he grabbed his phone before going to investigate. I think there's a video of this that I have, of the thing falling. I don't know if that's... Here. This is the last video that I have.
Good.
I love Adam Ellis. He's so cute. Ooh.
Something falls out of the hatch. It's kind of kidney-shaped and about the size of a sandwich. That's the only thing I can think of that it is the size of. I might be hungry.
But it's like, clearly something was in there, wedged in there now, right? And so he takes his phone, he goes down to the bottom of the stairs, and he sees what it is.
Is it a sandwich?
It's a sandwich. And he's like, thank God, guys, I thought you were David.
Oh, God damn it. It is like a Victorian child's shoe. It's black with a flat sole, and the tongue is sticking out. The tongue of the shoe. There's not a tongue sticking out.
It's teasing him.
Also, Adam Ellis has big-ass hands.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, he's got artist's fingers. Mm-hmm. He's got, like, piano fingers. I'll stop thirsting after Adam Ellis.
I won't.
Not interested
Adam
in me
Ellis
anymore.
is cute as hell.
He is
gay,
cute
but
as
that
hell.
doesn't mean he's not cute as hell.
Adam Ellis, come over here with that cute face.
Adam Ellis, just a moment of levity in this crisis that I'm enduring. Adam Ellis has one of my favorite tweets of all time where he's like, how to turn your pants into shorts for the summer. Mm-hmm. And he does like a little like tutorial of like, you cut these parts off and, you know, you want to make sure that they're even. And then, hey, you got yourself a free pair of shorts and it's great for, you know, when it's hot out. And then the final picture is him being like, enjoy. And it's a picture of him in his shorts. And you can see in the mirror behind him that there is a rectangle cut out of the ass of the shorts also. It's just really good.
Guys, if you're not following him on Instagram or Twitter, obviously, and TikTok as well, God, you are fucking missing out. He's one of the funniest people on earth. I have been following him since before this, but since I'm not on Twitter, I wasn't up with Dear David. Mm-hmm. But, like, Jesus Christ, he is funny.
Yeah.
So at this point, he texted his landlord. He was like, oh yeah, I'm not getting a ladder. I'm not going up there. I have found a small child's shoe.
Also, ladders are expensive.
For
my birthday this year, I'm asking my dad for a ladder.
Ooh.
Or a miter saw. I haven't decided yet.
Ladder. Sorry, I know it's your birthday. So the landlord came later that day and took a look around. He was like, there's somebody in the crawl space. You have to come here. So the landlord was like, absolutely. What's it like when the landlord responds day of, is what I'm asking.
Wow.
I know.
Must be nice.
After a moment of looking around, he was like, I was staring at him. I was standing at the bottom of the ladder, like watching him, waiting for him to be like sucked into the crawl space and never to be seen again. But after a moment, he's looking around and he says, there's nothing up here. And he was like, oh, okay. And then the landlord says, oh, wait. Except this, and he reaches over, and he grabs something, and he comes back down the ladder, and he hands it to Adam. It was a marble.
Oh, a little green marble.
It's a little green marble. It was worn out. It was kind of oddly misshapen. He's like, it was not shaped like a marble I've ever seen. He researched it later after the landlord left, because at this point, everything that's happening, he is trying to figure out. And he found out that marbles were made by hand in the 1900s, which means this oddly shaped one was probably very old and had been like carved by hand.
Well, hang on a second, because I was born in the 1900s. Let's
early 1900s. But it was like a kind of like scratched up old, like obviously hand carved marble. And it's pretty.
It is pretty.
Okay, so now he has found a secret crawl space with a child's Victorian shoe and a green marble. On December 12th, he updated Twitter to say there wasn't much to update. He wasn't feeling well, and he kept having random bouts of drowsiness. He had tried to convince himself that finding the objects in the crawl space had stopped this somehow, but obviously they hadn't. At this point, Adam Ellis's Twitter, like all of his tweets, have a very different personality. Like up until then, it was like, here's what's happening. This is the thing. I'm very scared. They start getting really fucking tired at this point. Like his personality has changed. So he's waited a while, and now he's come back, and he's just, he seems sick. One night, he woke up suddenly with the feeling that somebody had been watching him. He turned on his light, and he was alone. He explained that this was a feeling he was familiar with now, as it always accompanies moments that he has interactions with David. He mentioned that some people have been tweeting that David probably needed help. They looked at this little kid, which is what my first instinct was, he's so cute. He probably needs help. You should try to like reach out to him and all this stuff. But he said like, no, the feeling that I get from David is pure malice. There is nothing about him that feels like a child.
I had the opposite experience from you where I was like, kill, fire, and then I was like, it's a child. Reel it in.
Max has a survival instinct. So the next night, but he's saying like, oh, no. This is evil. There's nothing. This is the feeling of pure evil. The next night, he woke up with that same feeling. He thought about using his pet camera because he's like, maybe I should record in my house. But the cord was not long enough to be able to mount it high enough to monitor the room. So instead, he downloaded an app to his phone that takes a photo every 60 seconds. He mounted that on a 7-foot-tall bookcase that's like above his bed. So you could see the bed, you could see the rest of the room. And then he went back to sleep. Just like before, he jolted awake again with this feeling of like dread and malice in the air. So he ran to his phone and he looked at the more than 350 pictures because every 60 seconds it just takes another one.
So that's 5 hours, like 6 hours.
Pretty good. I don't know. All of them were of his empty room, him sleeping in his bed like normal. And then suddenly, David was there. Okay, I think this is I'm almost getting to the end of I have like one more very scary one after these ones, but sorry. We'll watch something nice after this. So this is his first one. There's nothing in here.
Right.
So he said most of them were this. I'm sleeping in my bed. You can see him on his bed with like his comforter over him. He's such a boy. He has like one thin blanket over him. I can't imagine. Mm-hmm. I sleep with a million blankets on top of me underneath all of my many pillows.
It looks a lot like those, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. They're like Mexican-style woven blankets.
Yeah.
That a lot of times in Georgia you see at gas stations for
that's
sale.
what it looks like. It has like a very clear pattern. I'll tell you when to swipe. And then suddenly David was there, staring at him in the bed. Go ahead and swipe. Okay. And then I put,
fucker. Oh my God.
I can't put this picture here. I'm too freaked out right now because last night I was just like, I'll get the pictures tomorrow. And then it took me hours. The next photo, David was looking straight up at the ceiling.
Wait, I want to address this photo really quickly.
Can I see?
This one is weirder than the other ones. This one, like, again, you can see like the caved in side of the head, but the shoulders are more like sloped down. So there's like a weird effect of like the head sort of being like balanced on top of the neck.
He looks a little bit like
and
a
the body,
in this one too.
And the body is like tapered down from there, and it looks like he's like sitting on the couch.
Yeah. The next one, David was looking straight up at the ceiling, right? And he stared for a little while. Then the next dozen or so he has collapsed on the chair. I think that's the next one. So he like has fallen into this chair. You can hardly see him. Hold on.
Yeah, he's collapsed forward in the...
Yeah, and he said it almost looked like a doll. And he was like, also, he looked dead. He's like, I know that's really stupid to say, but he looks dead. And I was like, huh. So like the next dozen or so, he's just like that. Which is also way scarier than anything he's done so far. Just like suddenly like slumped forward like he's dead. Mm-hmm. For like several minutes.
It's real weird. Spooky.
That's spooky. Then he was gone. So a few photos later, he was back, standing next to the bed again. Adam, at this point, did not want to go to the next photo. His stomach felt really sick, but of course he did, because he's like, fuck it, I'm already here. And also Adam Ellis is nothing if not an investigator. Mm-hmm. In this one, David is standing on the bed next to him, inches from his head. So now you can see him.
It's really hard to tell because it's pixelated so much, but you can see, it's also, you can kind of see like the place where the bed like dips down, where
there's a weight on it.
Yeah, and you very obviously see like this caved in head, and it's really hard to tell because it's really, really, really like low resolution, but it kind of looks like he's like smiling.
Yeah, he's got like a...
Yeah.
Whoa, his eyes look really caved in. Yeah, he's definitely on the bed. You can see shadows where his feet are. The next one is, to me, the most upsetting one.
Okay.
I do think they get a little bit better after this, but this is the scariest one. I screamed last night alone, and then I had to take a break. After this, the next photo, David is looking directly at the camera, right? He's like, he turns his head, and he's like staring. I don't have that one on here. He's just like staring at the camera. So then he disappears again, right? And it's just like an empty room again. He's sleeping. And for many, many, many pictures, for like, again, there's 350 of them. It's just like him sleeping in the room. There's nothing in the room with him. To the last one, which is when Adam woke up, when he like jolted awake. In that last photo.
I know it's going to be a close-up of his face right in front of the camera.
Nope, it's not his face. It's part of his face.
It's just like the top of his head, like he's looking at something under the camera. He's like right in front of...
So in this picture, you see his like straw-like hair. It's very stringy, which is why I said like it's not like a blonde bowl cut. It's like almost, it's just very thin and like stringy, like a lot of it has fallen out. And you see the corner of his ear and it looks malformed. It looks like a very deformed ear. And he's right up next to the camera. And this is where I screamed, nope! Took a little break. Because that was maybe the most upsetting thing I'd ever seen. Okay, we're actually almost done.
Oh, good.
So Adam tweeted that he was freaked out. He didn't know what to do. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And that more than anything, he was tired. He was exhausted. Like literally his tweet was, I don't know what to do. I'm so tired. And that was it. And it was like a really concerning tweet. Because again, his whole personality has shifted from the time he was first posting in August. On December 20th, he went to visit his family in Montana for the holidays. And he reported immediately feeling better. Like the second he was out of that house, he was like, woo, my body feels better. My brain feels better. It was like I came out from underwater. He said that he hadn't thought about moving before because he was afraid David would follow him. But when everything improved in Montana, he was like, oh, fuck, I should move. Which also makes me think, like, if your whole personality is changing and you're getting sick and your mental health is declining, like, of course you wouldn't be like, I should leave.
I should undertake moving.
Yeah. Or maybe something in there is, like, trying really hard to, like, make him doubt moving. After a week at home, though, he started feeling weird again. So he had, like, 1 week off, and then all of a sudden it all started again. One night, he got up to go to the bathroom, and he felt like something was outside the window. The next morning, he checked, and there were, like, animal tracks in the snow, right? It was like animal tracks. He lives and there's, like, a lot of snow. He lives in Montana, and he was, like, some sort of, like, deer or something clearly, like, jumped. I probably startled it outside of the window.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time getting the angle on this.
Yeah, that's what he said. And he was like, I don't know, but obviously something was probably like some sort of like nocturnal animal, like maybe like a deer or something like that was like, or coyote, like was just out there. Something with like little.
These are weird tracks.
They are strange.
They look kind of like deer tracks, but they are like a foot and it's like two prints and they are like maybe a foot apart and they are diagonal in kind of opposite directions. They're like catty corner. So it would be like if whatever animal it was like, what is it called? Pigeon-toed.
Yeah. It's a little bit. To me, that looks like two deer tracks or whatever, but he was basically like, okay, so that was what happened. So there was an animal out there. Again, nothing abnormal for Montana. The next night, the same thing happened. He thought he saw movement outside of the bathroom window, and he, like, turned off the lights. He waited for his eyes to adjust. As they did, something lurched away from the window, and he was like, oh, that was another animal. Again, this is not, like, abnormal for Montana, I don't think, but also he was obviously kind of freaked out. The next morning, he saw tracks leading away from the window in the snow. And so he put on his coat, and he, like, went to go look at it, because he was, like, about to get in his car, and he was like, oh, there's those tracks. And also, it's just one line of tracks leading away from the bathroom window.
Yeah, there's nothing approaching it that I can see.
No.
It also, this doesn't look like quadrupedal tracks. This looks like something with two legs walking really slowly.
This is the upsetting part to me. They are very slow, very close together, and even like it was pedaling. It's really weird.
Quadrupedal tracks are like clustered a lot of times where it'll be like...
And they'll be uneven.
Blank, track from like the front and back foot and then blank, track. And this is like right, left.
But like really close together.
Yeah.
So he put on his coat. He went to go take a closer look. And he realized that those
are footprints.
These look like little footprints. And they're deep.
And one of them looks like it doesn't have a shoe.
Yeah.
Am I crazy for the right foot looks like it doesn't have a shoe?
I thought it looked barefoot too. The left one clearly has a little shoe on.
The right one, though, is like splayed out at the ends.
And
like
he found
toes.
that little right shoe. So now he said he felt helpless. He's like, if that was David, then he can follow me anywhere, and I'm back to square one because moving won't help. And also, it was winter in New York. He's like, moving in winter in New York is miserable. I was looking at apartment listings in Montana when I thought everything was good, and I was like, I'm willing to fucking risk it. And he's like, and the second I saw those footprints, I was like, oh shit, no, I can't get away. It won't make a difference. I'll just leave it somewhere else. He went back home on January 2nd, and he felt terrible again. He was like, I'm back at square one. He used the app that takes photos but didn't catch anything else except for once. The night before January 2nd, or the night before he tweeted, he had had a terrible dream. David was hovering in the corner of his room, muttering something that was too quick to hear. Then, suddenly, he was hovering over Adam's head, still muttering, and all Adam could do was stare. He said, quote, suddenly he plummeted downward, and I felt this huge pressure crash into my chest. I woke up gasping. The wind completely knocked out of me. I sat up, and I looked around frantically, heaving for air, but there was nothing. The photo in his camera roll is awful. I don't think it's as bad as that first one, but it's not great. It clearly catches David in 4K, hovering above Adam's head.
Oh, Jesus. Ugh.
I am so sorry.
It's also, I was picturing him like upright. No, he's like horizontal over.
His feet are in the air.
Yeah. It looks like he's like falling from the ceiling.
And he's moving. Yeah, there's like a clear movement in it. His little fingers look terrible. Not a fan of David. So he tweeted that
not doing well.
Almost done. He tweeted that he was at a loss. He didn't know what to do. On January 16th, which is my cousin's birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Julia. He updated that everything seemed to have stopped. He was like, oh, okay. Everything is slowed down a little bit. He said he wasn't having bad dreams anymore. He felt better, and he was sleeping through the night. Random. Even with how much better he was feeling, though, something was obviously still off. And worse, he had started to lose time. So he was like, I feel better, but you guys should know that sometimes I will be sitting there. I'll sit down like at my kitchen counter, and then I will look at the clock, and a whole hour has passed after I sat down somehow. So that's not great. He said sometimes he would be sitting with someone, and he'd be like, what did you say? And they would look at him like, what? I didn't say anything. And he's like, what? And like that was just happening all the fucking time to him. Even with that, he still felt like he was ready to put it all behind him. So he opened his Twitter on Sunday and told everyone that he was going to stop tweeting about it. So he was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ignore it, which again, stop feeding it, right? Like I think at this point he'd figured out like the less I tweet about it, the less things happen. And so as he opened his Twitter to tweet this, he noticed that he had way more notifications than he normally had. He was like, what the hell is happening? Like hundreds of notifications. And they were all on his Instagram, and they were all responding to one of the stories that he had posted. So the night before, he had gone to brunch with his friends, and he had posted pictures.
The night before?
Yeah.
Midnight brunch?
The night before.
Brunch?
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's so weird. Adam, what kind of bougie midnight brunch is this? That is weird. That's what he said. But he'd gone to midnight brunch with his friends. And midnight brunch is just like the sequel to Midnight Mass. Horrifying.
And the prequel to Midnight Margaritas.
Oh. One of those is more fun than the other two. Taken a bunch of pictures, posted them on his stories. They were cute and uneventful. The first was of his avocado toast. The second was a cute selfie with his friend. And they are cute. They're very bright. He looks very happy. So these are the first two. They're just his avocado toast.
Adorable.
And his selfie of him and his friend smiling. And it says bottomless mimosas with some emojis on there. But the third had glitched. It was another selfie of him and his friend, but it was distorted and pink. You're going to have to zoom in. This is like a file. But it was distorted and pink. And half of his face looks very deformed. He tweeted that he might think it was just a glitch, but that he can't make sense of what was happening to his face. And then he said, quote, maybe I can. I know what it looks like, what it probably is, but I don't know if I care anymore. I really just want things to be normal again, and things feel normal enough right now. I don't know. I guess I'll keep you updated if something else happens. So what are you seeing?
This picture, it's him and his friend, and they're smiling, and there is a glitch across their faces. Like the top half of the picture is pink, and then the bottom half is like a dark blue, obviously like a color glitch. and the right half of Adam's face is not Adam's face. It's a huge watery eye that is slumped down on one corner and looking directly into the camera.
Yeah. And he didn't know this. So, like, he was literally about to post, like, everything's fine and I don't want to, I'm not going to text about this anymore. And then everyone was like, what the fuck is going on with your story? Adam, you need to respond. Which is, like, hundreds of those. On January 28th, he tweeted at 3 a.m. a video of his cat meowing at the door. So, obviously, this is still going on. February 3rd, he tweeted just, everything is fine, at 2:07, with nothing else.
AM or PM?
AM.
Mm-mm.
February 14th, 2:05.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine's Day, Max. These ghosts have no respect. At 2:05 a.m., he tweeted, quote, please don't worry about me. I'm okay and everything will be like it was before, smiley face. Followed by another video of his cat meowing at the door at 3 a.m. So that first one was at 2:05. And finally, the last one. On March 12th, he tweeted, quote, for everyone asking if I'm alive, I'm doing okay. It's been pretty quiet around here lately, and I've been trying to focus on work. Of course, I'll keep you updated if anything strange happens, but for now, I'm staying busy with drawing and other projects. And that was the tweet that ended the Dear David saga. So, people, of course, speculated that this was a hoax, right? They're like, he digitally altered everything. He's an artist. He's famous. He blah, blah, blah. To which Adam Ellis responded in an interview, I've never been interested in convincing anyone that ghosts are real. I just wanted to tell my story. Also, if it was all fiction, I probably would have updated more than once every couple weeks. Which I think is a good point. And the reason why I told this story, the reason why I went back and looked all this up, was because Dear David is now a movie. Mm-hmm. The commercial looks very scary. I was very freaked out by it. It's directed by John McPhail, and it is set to be released on October 13th.
That's the day after my birthday.
It is. Also, I was thinking we could release this episode that weekend before. Hype up the movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Your birthday. It stars Augustus Prue as Ellis, which is Adam's character, and Justin Long and Andrea Bang in supporting roles.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good. And everyone should follow Adam Ellis and go watch the movie if you dare. And also, I'm going to post some of these pictures in our Discord. And you can just look up the Wakelet article. There's also a, I believe, a Bustle article with all of the tweets in a row that you can go through. They are freaky.
Yeah.
They are genuinely, I think, the most upsetting, like, ghost pictures and stuff I've ever seen. Usually they're, like, blurry, and you have to use your imagination. You don't have to use your imagination for these.
No, they're very clear. And I mean that in a derogatory way. Yeah, I do... This might ruin it a little bit. I do remember, and I would have to look it up, but I do think I remember Adam saying, like, this is, yeah, I'm a horror writer. This was a...
He is a horror writer.
Story that I wrote.
Yeah. He is a horror writer, and he did end up making a comic of this, but I read a bunch of interviews with him where he was like, no.
Yeah.
I was just documenting what was happening. That being said, if it is a hoax, pretty fucking good one, because this freaked me the hell out. All the videos of the chair moving on its own and, like, there's just, like, too much happening where I was like, fucking nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be really hard to fake. Not impossible, but very difficult.
Yeah.
And to what end? But at the same time, we spent 6 months pretending that we had an audio producer, so...
We did haunt you guys for a very long time. Shout out to Keith. Keith's gonna have a hard time editing this episode. He's gonna be on the side of David. He's like, they really are slandering my boy. My baby boy. Okay. Well, guys, that was the story of Dear David. Ooh.
I have notes.
Sure.
Right. So here's a couple of things that I think about with this story.
Sure.
First of all, there is the question of, like, what started it, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of left open. There's also the dream that he had second of the little girl in a library explaining the rules to him.
Yeah.
That's something that I feel like doesn't get discussed about this story enough is like, who's that? Why does she know the rules? What's happening?
Yeah. Which is also goes into, he is a horror writer. He is a person who puts it, the movie, I think, explains that. But he was just having fucking disjointed dreams, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And
also the fact that he was like, I died in a store. I was like, okay, I feel like in the movie, we're going to see him on a Google search and then find that, you know? Like, the commercial has his mom, like, in there, you know?
Yeah, I just...
It's unanswered questions.
To me, also, as a person who would handle being haunted much like this, I would be like, who fuck's that little girl? Who's that little girl in the library? What library is it? Yeah. Was there, like, you know, try to go through that route, personally. That's just me. Also... the marble and the shoe in the crawl space. It's weird that there would be a shoe left behind. Also, knowing that, like, all of the evidence points to this being in the late 1800s, early 1900s, using that as search parameters, and especially for, like, not restricting the search to local, but just saying, like, New York, or even... anywhere.
I assume he did that. But that being said, I do think that people like me and you who go on deep dive research, like, I mean, I was a ghost tour guide forever. Like, I'm used to doing a shit ton of very intense historical research. I feel like I would have found something, you know? Like, just like,
wow.
Well, not like a brag.
Sorry
just
to
like,
Adam Ellis, but I'm different.
Adam Ellis, I feel like you're just a fucking idiot.
Did you try?
No, I just feel like there's just other things that we could go through, but I also feel like he was looking for information, but also was actively living a nightmare, and probably just wasn't, like, I don't know. There also might not be anything to find, except for the shoe was pretty physical.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just no information out there to find, you know?
Yeah. I also remember seeing this when it came out.
All these people that were commenting on the commercial were like, oh, I remember watching this in real time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I fucking remember. I came in right after it was, like, dark in the hallway. I think actually the chair rocking might be the last thing that I saw.
Yeah.
And then I kind of lost track of it, and I couldn't find the thread for a really long time. But also, I do remember when it concluded, it came back up onto my feed of, like, people interacting with it and everything. And I do remember the, like, everything is fine, smiley face. And everyone be like, fuck no! Fuck no!
No! Yeah, that one freaked me out the most out of, not the most, but that one freaked me out a lot. Just like, everything is mine.
Everything is mine.
Everything is mine. Gollum very briefly got a hold of his keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, very spooky. Don't recommend looking up all of this between 3 and 5 a.m.
No. Again, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning one night, and that was when I came across this thread for the first time, and it was in the middle of it. So I was like, okay, but then what happens?
Yeah.
You know? Personally, my perspective, I believe in ghosts. I do think that this was not a hoax, but like a story.
Could have been. Yeah.
That's my personal stance, which is not to say that it is or isn't real.
I think it definitely could be. There's also a lot of people who go through and try to debunk this, you know? So, and I'm sure that they've been successful on things.
For sure. I just, I can't in my brain. I am a very believing person, and this doesn't feel real to me.
See, I am not a believing person. I believe it if it happens to me and I can see it, but most things, and this is like maybe a shitty part of me, I'm like, most things can be explained. There's a lot of psychological factors and real world factors and things that we don't want to admit, like weather changes and shit that can like affect how you feel things, you know? So you can be like, I had a really weird feeling, and then it'd be like, oh, there's a scientific explanation for that, but okay. Yeah. And so I tend not to believe other things. I was also a ghost tour guide for a long time, and my ghost tours were just history, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh, also there's ghosts. These are found in the guest book. Take it as you will.
Yeah.
You know? Very spooky still. I love telling the ghost stories, but also I'm a storyteller. That's what I like about them.
Yeah.
I never pretend that they're like fact, because you can't prove it.
Yeah, our whole podcast is called Sort of the Story, because it's like, yeah, maybe not exactly the story, but
this
here it is.
Still a pretty good fucking scary one.
Yeah, I also, like, I am very much a skeptic, and have I ever shown you the ghost frequency?
No.
There's this frequency that is a sub-audible frequency.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I know
Have you
about
seen this?
Yeah.
Okay. I found out about this. I was driving my former partner to work, and they were like, oh, I'm reading this article about this thing. It's like this like spooky sound that makes you see ghosts. And it's like specifically a sound that you find in a lot of old buildings of like the sound of like wood rubbing together, like below the audible, below what you can hear. So that's a lot of things where they're like, hey, this building is haunted, and you can like test the sound and it has that sound.
Well, I was thinking with Adam too, talking about being tired, I was like, what if there's a carbon monoxide leak?
Gas leak. I was also thinking gas leak. Yeah, but like I was like, a sound that makes you see ghosts? Sure. And I was like, play it. And we were in my car and I was driving.
Oh no.
And I was like, play it. This will be so funny. And they played it, and it was just like, obviously you can't hear it, which I don't know why I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Obviously you can't hear it. I was just in the car and I was suddenly like, my ears did that thing.
Yeah.
I was like, suddenly like, oh, this is, I'm in a machine and I'm going very fast and there are so many things around me. Like,
got paranoid.
Yeah, it was like, I could feel like the back of my neck, like the skin crawl. And like, it is like, to a certain degree, I'm sure that it was a little bit of a placebo effect, but it was also like, physical things that like I don't think I could have faked.
Don't they play that through the speakers at like haunted houses and stuff as well?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
The super intense ones that you have to sign waivers, they put that sound through there to like make people very on edge and unsettled.
Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why they say that it triggers that instinct is because it is one of the sounds that, you know how like animals flee before an earthquake? That like low vibration is the sound that is caused also by like tectonic plates rubbing against each other. Ooh. So it's like a flee instinct of like, hey, shit's about to go down, get the fuck out. Yeah, absolutely terrifying. Yeah. So I was like, you know, old house, maybe like very clearly an old building, check into that, gas leak, whatever.
But then all of the fucking videos.
But there's so much.
All the fucking pictures, the footsteps, like just everything. The footsteps also got me because I'm like, those are such clear things, but also there's a long track of them and there is nothing else. Like there's no disturbed snow around it where I'm like, is it like did they make a little foot bicycle that they, they try? Is it like a thing where somebody's on somebody else's shoulders? And then, like they're such tiny shoes. It's just such undisturbed. There's like a lot of things and I'm like, freaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, guys. I mean, like, you could... no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be an asshole.
Okay, here's what you do. Guys, reach out to us on Discord or Instagram, or you can email us and let us know your thoughts. Do you think this is real? Are you going to see the movie? Did you go and look at all the pictures, and what did you think? Do you hate me? Max hates me a little bit right now. I can tell. She's very upset. Max is actively debunking it in her head and also going to have nightmares. So.
Hundo P. Hundo fucking P, my guy.
And that's my sweet spot. That's what it's like to be friends with Janey. Reach out to us. Also, if you want bonus episodes of our regular podcast, you can join our Patreon for $3. Join the Discord, $7, get those bonus episodes. And all of our links to our socials are in our show notes. So go over there. And have a great day, guys.
Sleep tight.
Ooh. Bye.
We got some crazy tufts going on.
Yeah, my hair is doing a thing. I had to... It looks really bad. I was going to wait until mid-August to get a haircut, and I looked in the mirror today, and I was like, oh no, that can't happen.
Oh no.
So I was like, I need to get this under control before I see my students.
They will never respect you again.
Honestly.
They know that you have hair.
I know that's crazy, but I do feel like a huge part of what makes me a successful teacher is how I present myself to the students. And I know that that's normal, right? That's like a psychological thing. But I mean, like, everything I look at now, if I buy an article of clothing and I'm like, okay, what's the exchange rate here? How much respect am I going to get for this skirt that has trucks on it? And the answer is a lot.
Wow.
I can't buy any black dresses anymore. Every time I look at them, I'm like, no, they won't like it.
That's wild.
Yeah. I do full face of makeup every day. All the other teachers thought I was fucking insane. They also think I'm super vain. It has nothing to do with vanity. It's that I have an obsession with correlating how my students treat me with how my face looks. I also have a tendency to obsess over things, so I do understand that as well.
Much to consider.
Much to consider. Max, how was your day?
What?
Tell me something about your day.
My day, I got to order some office supplies from Staples, and it was good.
Lucky. Have you been inside of a Staples recently?
No.
It is.
Like a month and a half ago.
Oh, it's fucking bleak.
Mm-hmm.
They are genuinely, it's surprising that they are still alive. They are gray and empty. The bathrooms are like horror movie crime scenes.
Oh, they always were that.
I know, but like now half the lights don't work in there.
Yeah, I was able to order office supplies, which is one of the most fun and probably deeply concerning things about my job is that I can just go to Staples and be like, yeah, we need all this stuff. Sometimes I'm having a bad day and I'm like, everybody gets colored markers.
Yes, they do. Oh, that's
Which
nice.
is probably bad for myself and my department's budget. But also, then everyone gets colored markers and they're all like, wow, great.
Yeah.
So maybe I also, in my own way, do a full face of makeup for a bunch of children.
Is except that a full face of makeup is buying markers for your adult coworkers?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way that I purchase respect and happiness.
That is nice.
Mm-hmm.